It was an early morning while I was going through my patient schedule, preparing for the day's appointments. As I glanced up, a man entered the clinic, his presence immediately noticeable. He was Mr. Harris, a 72-year-old gentleman whose face didn't look overly old, but there was a clear air of concern surrounding him. He smiled as he greeted me, but his eyes betrayed a deep sense of unease. "I've come to check my blood pressure, doctor," he said, his voice tinged with exhaustion. Mr. Harris had once been a strong and active man, working as a construction worker throughout his youth. The years had taken their toll, however. His once vibrant health had slowly declined. He had been dealing with high blood pressure for some time now, and though he had been prescribed medication to manage it, the side effects of the pills were starting to take their toll. He was worried, not just about the physical effects, but about the quality of life he was now leading. "I've been on medication for a while, but I don't think it's the answer anymore," he confided. "The pills help, but they don't really solve the problem. I feel like I'm losing control of my own body." What was more troubling was his growing fear of the future. Despite not feeling immediate pain or discomfort, he was haunted by the idea that one day, without warning, he could suffer from a stroke or worse. "I don't feel any pain, doctor, but I'm terrified that one day, I might just collapse, and no one will be there," Mr. Harris continued, his voice shaky. "It's the thought of losing control over my own health that keeps me up at night. As a doctor, I understand the concerns of my elderly patients, especially when it comes to chronic conditions like high blood pressure. Medication is important, but I also know it's not always the long-term solution people are looking for." Mr. Harris's fear was palpable, and it became clear to me that we needed to explore options that could help him regain control of his health, something more natural, something he could feel confident in. This was not just about managing his blood pressure, it was about restoring his confidence and peace of mind. I knew he had to start somewhere, and that somewhere had to be a simple, sustainable change in his daily routine. I sat down with Mr. Harris, listening carefully as he expressed his growing concerns. He had been on blood pressure medication for years, but over time, he began to feel that the pills weren't offering a long-term solution. They managed his condition, yes, but they didn't make him feel any more in control of his health. "Is it just the medication?" he asked, his voice filled with skepticism. "I want to try something more natural, something I can manage on my own." I could feel his frustration, and I understood where he was coming from. As a doctor, I've always encouraged my patients to explore natural remedies that complement their treatment plans. However, I also believe in carefully considering the potential benefits and risks before recommending anything. Mr. Harris wasn't asking for a miracle, just a way to regain some control over his health and well-being. It was clear that the constant reliance on medication had started to take a toll on him, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. I paused for a moment, thinking about how best to help him. There were many natural remedies available, but I knew it had to be something simple and realistic, something that Mr. Harris could easily incorporate into his daily life. After a few moments of reflection, I decided to suggest something that had shown promising results for many of my patients, a simple, natural solution: beetroot juice. "Have you ever considered trying beetroot juice?" I asked, observing his reaction. "It's a natural way to help manage blood pressure. The nitrates in beets can help dilate blood vessels, reducing blood pressure over time. If you drink a glass of fresh beetroot juice every morning, it might be a good start." Mr. Harris raised an eyebrow, clearly intrigued but also cautious. "Beetroot juice? Isn't that just for salads?" I smiled, reassuring him that there was more to beetroot than just being a side dish. I explained how studies had shown that the nitrates in beets could improve blood flow and reduce the resistance in blood vessels, which in turn could lower blood pressure naturally. It wasn't a quick fix, but with consistent use, it could offer real benefits. Just a glass of fresh beetroot juice each morning, I repeated. It's a small change, but it could make a big difference in the long run. He seemed to consider it for a moment, the idea of trying something natural and manageable appealing to him. I could see that he was ready to take control of his health in a way that didn't feel so dependent on medication. It sounds simple enough, he said, his voice a little lighter. I'll give it a try. I was glad to see that glimmer of hope in his eyes. It wasn't just about the juice, it was about giving him a sense of agency in his own health, something he had felt was slipping away for so long. With a small step, we were beginning a new journey together, one that would hopefully bring him not just better blood pressure, but a renewed sense of control over his life. Beetroot? How does that help lower blood pressure? Mr. Harris asked, a bit surprised by the suggestion. I could see the skepticism in his eyes, and I knew I needed to explain it clearly. Beetroot contains natural nitrates, Mr. Harris. When your body absorbs these nitrates, they convert into nitric oxide, which helps to relax and dilate your blood vessels. This reduces the resistance in your bloodstream and, over time, can help lower your blood pressure naturally. His expression softened as he listened, but he was still unsure. So, all I need to do is juice the beetroot and drink it every morning? He asked again, almost as if trying to convince himself. I nodded, reassuring him. Yes, that's right. Just one glass of fresh beetroot juice every morning. But it's also important to remember that this needs to be part of a balanced, healthy diet. If you combine this with other positive changes in your lifestyle, like eating more vegetables, cutting back on salt, and staying active, you'll have the best chance of seeing the benefits. Mr. Harris leaned back in his chair, still processing the information. I could tell he was considering whether this simple habit could really make a difference. The idea of something so natural and easy, like drinking beetroot juice every day, seemed almost too good to be true. Yet, there were enough studies and real-life success stories to show its potential. Just one glass of juice every morning, he muttered, his tone thoughtful. He was beginning to warm up to the idea. Exactly, I said. But consistency is key. If you commit to drinking it every day, you should start noticing small changes. It won't happen overnight, but in a few weeks, you might see a reduction in your blood pressure. And remember, it's not just about the juice, it's part of a bigger picture of taking care of yourself. I could see that Mr. Harris was starting to trust the idea, but I also wanted to set realistic expectations. It's a small step, but it's a step in the right direction. The important thing is that you're taking control of your health, one healthy habit at a time. Mr. Harris nodded slowly, his earlier doubt beginning to fade. All right, I'll try it, he said, a hint of determination in his voice. I'll start tomorrow. I smiled, feeling hopeful. I knew this simple change in his routine could be the beginning of something much bigger for him, a chance to take charge of his health again and, just as importantly, to feel empowered in his journey toward better well-being. A week passed, and Mr. Harris returned to my clinic. This time, he seemed different, more energetic, with a certain spark in his eyes. He walked in with a smile, and I could immediately tell that something had changed. Doctor, I have to admit, I didn't think it would work, he said, laughing softly. But I feel different. I feel more awake in the mornings, and I think my blood pressure has come down a little. I was pleased to hear this. Mr. Harris had made that simple commitment, one glass of beetroot juice each morning. It wasn't a magic cure, but he was starting to notice some positive changes. When I checked his blood pressure, it had dropped slightly from 160/95 to 155/90. It wasn't a dramatic reduction, but it was a clear sign that his body was responding. It was a step in the right direction, and for someone like Mr. Harris, that small victory was incredibly encouraging. I have to tell you, I didn't think something as simple as beetroot juice could make a difference, he said. But I feel more awake and less sluggish. I don't get those midday slumps like I used to. I nodded, happy that he was seeing improvements. You're on the right track, Mr. Harris. This is just the beginning. Beetroot juice is helping to dilate your blood vessels, which reduces the strain on your heart. But the real benefit comes from consistency. If you keep this up, along with a balanced diet and regular physical activity, you'll see even greater improvements. Mr. Harris looked encouraged, and I could tell that his outlook on his health was shifting. What started as a simple suggestion had become part of his daily routine. He began sharing more about how he had also started eating more vegetables and even walking a little more each day. He seemed proud of the changes he was making, and rightly so. I've even added some other veggies to the juice, he said. Carrots, cucumbers, and a little ginger. It actually tastes better now, and I feel like I'm doing something good for myself. It was clear that Mr. Harris was embracing this new lifestyle. What had begun as a simple remedy had transformed into a more holistic approach to health. It was no longer just about lowering his blood pressure, it was about feeling better, living healthier, and taking control of his well-being. What's been the biggest change for you? I asked, curious to hear more about his experience. He thought for a moment, then smiled. I think the biggest change is how I feel mentally. I used to worry about every little thing, about my health, about what might happen to me. Now, I feel like I'm doing something positive. I'm more in control. This was exactly the kind of transformation I hoped for. It wasn't just about managing a medical condition, it was about restoring his confidence, his vitality, and his sense of agency in his own life. I couldn't help but feel proud of the progress Mr. Harris had made in just a short time. Remember, I said, you've taken control of your health, one step at a time. Keep it up, and don't stop believing in the power of small changes. He nodded, a wide grin spreading across his face. I won't. I'm feeling better every day. The journey was just beginning for Mr. Harris, but already, he had proven that with patience, consistency, and a few simple lifestyle changes, even someone in his 70s could take control of their health, and feel better than they had in years. As the weeks passed, Mr. Harris continued his morning ritual of drinking beetroot juice, and I could see the positive impact it was having on him. What pleased me the most was that he had not only made this a consistent part of his routine, but he had also embraced it as a personal commitment to better health. I've started to enjoy the smell of beetroot, he told me one day, a hint of pride in his voice. It's like every morning, I know I'm doing something good for my body. It feels like a ritual now, something I look forward to. It was amazing to see how something as simple as a morning juice could evolve into a habit that brought him a sense of accomplishment. But Mr. Harris didn't stop there. He began to take a more active interest in his diet overall. Inspired by his success with the beetroot juice, he started adding other vegetables and fruits into his meals, like carrots, cucumbers, and even a little ginger for an extra boost. These additions weren't just for the juice anymore, he was finding new ways to incorporate them into his regular meals. I never used to think much about what I was eating, Mr. Harris confessed. But now, I feel like I'm giving my body what it really needs. It's not just the beetroot juice anymore, it's everything I put in my body that counts. What impressed me even more was his growing awareness of the importance of overall wellness. The juice had sparked a new mindset in him. It wasn't just about lowering blood pressure anymore, it was about taking care of himself in a holistic way, from what he ate to how he treated his body and mind. He shared that he had also started to be more mindful of his physical activity. I've been walking more, just around the block in the mornings. I feel stronger, more energized. It was heartening to hear how Mr. Harris had taken responsibility for his health in a way that wasn't just about managing a condition, it was about creating a lifestyle that supported long-term well-being. Every morning, as he drank his beetroot juice, he was building a habit that not only nurtured his body but also boosted his confidence. It was a simple ritual, but it was a step towards something much bigger. "Now I look at food differently," he said one morning, while sipping his juice. "I'm not just eating to fill myself up. I'm eating to fuel my body, to keep it working well." This shift in perspective was exactly what I hoped for. Mr. Harris had turned a small, daily action into something much more meaningful. The consistency of his morning juice, paired with the changes he was making to his overall diet and lifestyle, was creating a foundation for sustained health. "Do you still feel any effects from the juice?" I asked, curious to hear his thoughts on how he was feeling now that this habit had become ingrained. Mr. Harris smiled. "I feel great, document. I'm not just seeing the physical changes, but mentally, I'm more clear-headed. I'm sleeping better, and I'm less stressed. Honestly, it feels like I'm taking control of my life again." His words were a testament to the power of consistency and the importance of small, positive changes. What started as a simple suggestion had now become a powerful daily habit that was transforming his health and mindset. And as a doctor, there was no greater satisfaction than witnessing this kind of positive change in a patient's life. A month later, Mr. Harris returned to my clinic, and the results were nothing short of astonishing. As soon as he walked through the door, I could see a noticeable difference in him. He looked more vibrant, his posture more upright, and there was a newfound energy in his step. It was as though a weight had been lifted off him. "Doctor, I don't think I could have done it without your advice," he said with a broad smile. "But now, I feel fantastic. I never thought I could feel this good again." I immediately took his blood pressure, and the numbers confirmed what I had been seeing. His blood pressure had dropped to 140 over 85. It was a significant improvement from the 160 to 95 he had when he first came in. The reduction wasn't just in the numbers, it was in the way Mr. Harris carried himself, the way he talked, and the way he looked at life now. He was no longer just managing his blood pressure, he was thriving. "I can't believe it. I thought I was stuck with high blood pressure for the rest of my life," he continued, still in disbelief. "But now, I feel healthier than I've felt in years. I've even started walking every morning, just a short walk around the block. It's something I never thought I'd be able to do, but now it feels like part of my routine." I was genuinely thrilled to hear this. His story was a testament to the power of small, consistent changes. What started with a simple habit, drinking beetroot juice every morning, had turned into a complete shift in his lifestyle. The improvements in his blood pressure were just the beginning. Mr. Harris was now taking control of his health in ways that went beyond what we initially discussed. It's amazing how just one small change can snowball into so many other positive changes, I said. By committing to that morning ritual, you've not only improved your blood pressure, but you've also started walking, eating healthier, and feeling better overall. This is the kind of change I hope to see in all my patients. He nodded, clearly proud of the journey he had undertaken. It's not just about the beetroot juice anymore. It's about how I've changed my whole approach to life. I feel more alive, more in control. And the best part? I'm not on any medication anymore. That last statement truly struck me. Mr. Harris had been able to reduce his dependency on medication by making lifestyle changes. It was a powerful reminder of how much our bodies can heal when we give them the right tools. Through his dedication, he had turned his health around, and he was now a living example of how taking small, consistent steps can lead to extraordinary results. "I'll keep doing this," Mr. Harris said, his voice full of determination. "I'm not going back." I'm going to keep walking, keep drinking my beetroot juice, and keep taking care of myself. As he left the clinic that day, I couldn't help but feel a deep sense of pride. Not just for the progress he had made, but for the way he had embraced his health and taken control of his life. His story was a reminder that it's never too late to make a change, and that even the smallest habits can lead to big, life-changing results. Mr. Harris's journey wasn't just about a single food or a blood pressure lowering method. It was a powerful testament to the strength of consistency and perseverance. His story exemplifies how small, consistent changes can lead to profound transformations. It wasn't just his blood pressure that improved, it was his entire outlook on life. He gained back not only his physical health but also his confidence, vitality, and a renewed sense of joy in everyday activities. When he first walked into my office, Mr. Harris had been struggling with fear and uncertainty about his health. He was living with the constant worry that his blood pressure could lead to a stroke, and his reliance on medication was making him feel like he had no control over his own body. But through his determination and commitment to making simple yet effective lifestyle changes, Mr. Harris had taken back control. The beetroot juice was just the start, a catalyst for a chain of positive habits that gradually transformed his health. What was most inspiring was how consistent he was with his daily habits. Every morning, without fail, he would drink his glass of fresh beetroot juice. It wasn't a quick fix or a temporary solution, it became part of his daily routine. And over time, that simple action became a symbol of his commitment to himself and his well-being. As he continued with the juice, he incorporated more healthy habits into his life. He added more vegetables to his meals, started walking regularly, and paid closer attention to his diet and lifestyle choices. These weren't drastic changes, they were manageable steps, but taken consistently, they added up to something remarkable. I never thought I could feel this good at 72, he told me, reflecting on his progress. Honestly, I'm amazed at how much better I feel now. My energy is through the roof, and I just feel younger, somehow. I owe it all to the small changes, and I'm never going back. His words were a powerful reminder of the impact that persistence can have. It wasn't the beetroot juice alone that made the difference, it was the way he consistently followed through with his new habits, no matter how small they seemed. Those little changes compounded over time and led to a profound shift in his overall health. Mr. Harris's story wasn't just about lowering blood pressure, it was about the realization that taking control of one's health doesn't require drastic measures. It's about showing up for yourself, making the best choices you can, and sticking with them day after day. It's about building a life of habits that support your well-being and lead to lasting results. Thank you, Doctor, Mr. Harris said, smiling as he stood up to leave. I've never felt this good in my life. I've learned so much about taking care of myself. You've helped me realize that it's never too late to make a change. As he walked out of my office that day, I couldn't help but feel immense pride for him. His journey was a beautiful example of how consistency, no matter how small, can lead to significant change. And most importantly, it reminded me that, as a doctor, my job isn't just to treat illness, it's to help people like Mr. Harris rediscover their strength, health, and confidence. His transformation was proof that with patience, persistence, and the right habits, anyone can rewrite their story and take charge of their health, no matter their age. As Mr. Harris left my office that day, I couldn't help but reflect on the profound impact his journey had on me as well. His story is a powerful reminder of the power of small, consistent actions. It's not always about making huge, sweeping changes in our lives. Sometimes, it's the little things we do every day that accumulate into something far more significant than we could have imagined. The beauty of Mr. Harris's transformation lies in its simplicity. He didn't try to overhaul his entire life overnight. He didn't go on an extreme diet or start a rigorous fitness regimen that would have been unsustainable for him. Instead, he made a single decision to incorporate a small, healthy habit into his daily routine, drinking beetroot juice every morning. That was the catalyst that set everything in motion. What's most remarkable about his story is that it didn't require grandiose changes or sacrifices. It wasn't about being perfect, it was about taking small, manageable steps and sticking with them. It's easy to get overwhelmed by the idea of completely changing our lifestyles, especially as we get older, but Mr. Harris proved that even the smallest commitment, one as simple as drinking a glass of beetroot juice each morning, can lead to life-changing results. Throughout this journey, Mr. Harris learned that the road to better health isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. It's about being patient with yourself, trusting the process, and understanding that meaningful change takes time. There will be moments when progress seems slow, but it's essential to keep moving forward, no matter how small the steps may be. His journey is a reminder that each of us has the power to improve our health, no matter our age or the obstacles we face. Sometimes, it just takes that first step, a simple decision to do something better for ourselves. And once we start, the results can be transformative. As for Mr. Harris, his story is far from over. While his blood pressure is now under control and his health is improving, the journey continues. Each new day brings an opportunity for further growth, more improvements, and deeper lessons about taking care of his body. I have no doubt that he will continue to make choices that support his health, not because he has to, but because he now understands the power of consistency and the rewards it brings. I hope Mr. Harris's story serves as a reminder for everyone watching or reading this. No matter where you are in life, no matter your age, you can make positive changes. It all starts with one decision. One small action, repeated every day, can create a ripple effect that transforms your health and well-being. It's never too late to begin, and the results can be more powerful than you ever imagined. The journey of change, however small, is always worth it. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you found this content helpful and want to see more videos about health and nutrition for seniors, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you won't miss any new videos. See you in the next video. Wishing you all good health and happiness.